Hello and welcome to Warhammer Wednesday. In this video I'll be reviewing the Genestealer cult's Acolyte hybrids. Well, I've built them as hybrid Metamorphs. You've got two options in the box set. The set will cost you £25. It's a lot of money for just 5 models, but they've got a lot of options and plenty of customization. It would have been cool if they had 2 box sets, one for Metamorphs, one for hybrids at £12.50 each, or I don't know how they work their pricing out, but I understand that it's 2 sprues and, you know, that's what it is. These, you'll find these either in the troops if you use them as acolytes, or you'll find them in elites if you use them as Metamorphs in the Genestealer cult's codex, which I'm going to try and get a review out as soon as I can. I'm still digesting it. I'm still feasting on the knowledge within that tome, so bear with me for the review. Right, so let's have a look at the models. Let's start off with your Metamorph Leader. Now the main difference between these Metamorphs and the hybrids, well, one, the hybrids are troops and these are elites, but 2, the hybrids are really more of a sort of shooty, multi-purpose little unit, whereas these guys, in my opinion, are more sort of in-your-face close combat. They've got the same special rules, so they can ambush out of thin air. They've got the same stats too, but these guys get a Metamorph Talon. Now, if I was putting my money on things, I'd say they're Metamorph Talons. Within the little unit, they can change one of the Talon to a Metamorph Whip, or Lash Whip, or a Metamorph Claw, Crushing Claw. So let's have a look. This is the leader. I found the little Astra Militarum skull with his helmet on, and I put him on the base. Really cool model. Try and get better lighting for you. I've just gone for the pose on the box, but I think it works really well. I love the fact that he's got this bone sword, and then he's got his rending claws, and then he's got his lash whip, and yeah, so he's just gonna jump out of the shadows and scare the willies out of you. So that's the leader. Then I've gone for this guy with the cult icon. This little beauty gives all models in that unit +1 weapon skill. That's awesome. So they're already fighting at weapon skill 5, and then any model with a lash whip, it bumps his initiative up by +3. So I think their initiative would then be 7 just for him and 7 for this guy. This army is very difficult to sort of keep track of all the different little special rules and things going on. You've got everything from instead of moving, you can just take them off the battlefield, place them in reserve, and then you can roll on the cult ambush table, and depending on the dice roll, they can pretty much appear 6 inches or 3 inches near an enemy unit and then assault them, and yeah, it gets messy for the enemy player. I've read posts on various sites about how competitive these guys could become, and then you've got all the other bonuses that brings, such as an extra shooting attack, all these little kind of things. Anyway, so let's get back to the models. I like the rules so much too. I think they really suit the army, and I'll talk about the rules in the codex review. This is the little cult icon bearer. Looks pretty decent. Then I've gone for hand flamers. Definitely gone for hand flamers, because this wall of death, you know, even if they're assaulted, I've got 3 hand flamers in here, so that's your D3 hits against enemies. Again, this has got this talon. So the talon, the claw, and the whip all have separate little rules to go with them. I think the Talon has this rule called Scythe, which gives +1 weapon skill during the fight sub-phase, and then if you've got 2 Talons, you get +2 weapon skill. So because it's got the cool icon, that's 5. This guy gets weapon skill 6, just because he's got 1. And this guy here, with 2 Talons, would get a +7 weapon skill. That's just mental. And obviously they've got the hand flamers. And this guy has this Metamorph Claw, which has the special rule Crush, gives him +2 strength. Now, of course, the AP is only 5, of course, but you could opt to use all their ending claws instead, which again is only AP5, but it does have the rending special rule. I think they get 2 or 3 attacks each too, so they're pretty beefy in combat, and they're quite cheap too, even their little upgrades. So the hand flamers are 5 points, the cult icon is 10 points, which I think is a good little bit of tax to give all of them an extra +1 weapon skill, and then you can have five more, so you could have 10 of them for 90 points, not including upgrades. It's a very cheap army. Unfortunately, they're quite pricey for sort of a horde type of army. £25, 45, 50 points worth of models. You tally that up by 10, and that's still only 500 points. Yes, it would be 100 neophyte hybrids, for instance, but that's already £250 on sort of a 500 point army. So I just thought I'd mention that. I can't help it. I have to go back to the rules and talk about them now and again. This is the claw metamorph. Where's his eyes? These are just the stuff of nightmares, I tell you. All these models, especially with the heads and things, they just really remind me of Prometheus. If you haven't watched it, spoilers, the space suits and things, there's just this creature with a similar sort of head, and the only thing that's missing is, to get the full Ridley Scott experience, is the sort of glass helmet. That is the only thing that's missing. Mutation wise are very similar, but there you go. That is the Metamorph set. I really love them. It's just a shame they're 25 quid, because I'd buy 2 or 3 box sets of them, because I really like the models. After 3 or 4 sets, you might be looking at some duplicity issues, but still, I really like them. I'm really pleased that I built the Metamorphs instead of the Acolyte hybrids. If I was to get another set, I'd probably I'll probably build them as hybrids, because I want to see that rock crusher weapon. So let's now have a look at the spare parts, which are just here. Let's just move these back a bit. I don't know if you keep up with video game news and things, but I've seen the Space Hulk trailer with the Dark Angels boarding a Space Hulk in Terminator armour, and they go up against Genestealers and Tyranids, and there is a Patriarch or Broodlord, and it's very similar, because you see these sort of Genestealer cults aboard there firing rocket launchers. They've got the atmosphere just right. I think the sounds are pretty good too. Not that I'd know exactly what a Stormbolter would sound like, but still, I'd go check it out, because it sort of brings animation to the models and to the source material. Just gives you that extra insight and another medium to experience this hobby in, I suppose. Anyway, let's have a look at the little extra parts. This is the sort of rock crusher buzzsaw type weapon I was talking about. Oh, look at that, mental. Unfortunately, you can't have it with the Metamorphs, but there you go, that's that. You've got plenty of heads. Look how many heads you got. All different mutations and things, all with their tongues out. You got this sort of, God knows what's going on there, some kind of mask happening. His eyes have bulged out, just like, oh. And then this sort of like crab type claw. And then this dude has got the, that's just brilliant, isn't it? He's got the detonator and the blast charges, or whatever they are, in one hand. No, in two of his hands. Just excellent. And there's plenty that have options for blades and rending claws only. You got this too, which is sort of like the rock crusher type weapon. And then you've got this seismic type cannon thing. Just, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Lots of spare parts and things, and there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't just, with a bit of modification, put these on Imperial Guard and use up these heads too. And there you go. If you've got spare Imperial Guard laying around that you haven't used, that are unboxed, there's no reason why you couldn't just mod them up and put these arms and things on them and have them as first, second hybrids. Perfectly fine, I'd say. So as you probably could tell, I'm a big fan of this set. Really love the models, wanted to support the release. I'm not a big Tyranid player or collector at all, but I just think they'll eventually go really well with the Death Watch, and they're kind of two little forces. And that is the end of my review. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.